What is that thing? Is that the daycare attendant from Security Breach? Why is it crawling or sliding along the floor with no animation? And what is that noise? Oh my gosh, that's Vanny. Vanny, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break into your house, which is covered in wallpaper of your own face. I like it. It shows a lot of confidence. Oh god. Wow, Vanny is tough. She could be a boxer. Oh crap, that's Roxy, and she's T-posing. That means she's expressing her dominance. That's what all robots do when they express their dominance. They T-pose. Vanny's night opens with a shot of the salon from Security Breach whilst ominous music plays. There are a lot of FNAF fan games, but most of them reference the classic series. The first 7 FNAF games were made in a program called Click Team Fusion, which is very beginner-friendly and easy to use, and naturally, most fan games try to emulate Scott's originals. There haven't been too many Security Breach fan games, which is a little disappointing because I'd love to see those characters adapted into more traditional FNAF-style gameplay. However, that all changed when I discovered Vanny's Night and Escape from Security Chapter 2. Excited to finally play a game that extended Security Breach's narrative, I downloaded it, fired it up, and went to press New Game. And it played an advertisement. Great. In the intro cutscene, our character is dragged along the floor of Vanny's house whilst they lose consciousness. We awaken in a rather spacious bedroom, and the wallpaper is concept art from Security Breach, tiled, over and over again, forever. Below it is an image of Vanny that also repeats forever. I think this is going to become the new big look. You're going to go into your school or your office, and the walls are just going to be Vanny, Vanny, Vanny everywhere, all the time. I get it. Who wouldn't want hundreds of copies of their face staring back at them from every wall in their home? If you went to someone's house and their face was just plastered all over the walls in a repeating pattern, wouldn't that make you feel really comfortable and not awkward? Speaking of awkward, do you know that they made my subscribe button invisible? Seriously, it's gone. Try to subscribe to my channel right now. You can't. So everyone who is subscribed to my channel already are certified true OGs now. Shoutouts to the true OGs. We grab a key and exit the room. Entering the hallway, we can see that it too is covered in the strange concept art wallpaper. No matter where you go, there are hundreds of Vanny faces surrounding you, staring at you, mocking you. Walking into the hallway, I noticed that this section of wall was suspiciously different from the others. Mainly, it didn't have Vanny's face and the stolen Security Breach assets plastered all over it. Approaching, the game explained that this wall could be broken, but that I would need a suitable tool. I didn't have much time to ponder where I could find such a tool because at that very moment, I heard loud, booming footsteps approaching. I fled into another bedroom and I saw something really weird on the walls, even weirder than all the Vanny faces. Above the bed was this strange message. What could it mean? I found a pair of wire cutters, hid in a closet until the footsteps subsided, and carefully departed the room. I went to continue down the hallway when suddenly I found myself face to face with Vanny. Vanny, wait, let's talk about this. Why are you even mad at me? What did I even do? Was it because I made fun of your wallpaper? It's actually really nice. Wait. Boy, does she kill you. That's one hell of a bitch slap. Vanny is pretty tough if she can effortlessly take someone out with one hand like that. Wait a minute, if she's such a badass, why did she need to hack the animatronics to help her out in Security Breach? She could have just punched everyone to death. Why the convoluted scheme? Vanny's Night Security Breach is a free iOS game that heavily features characters, art, and designs from FNAF. If you are looking for a horror game, you're in the right place. You can play and enjoy the amazing Vanny's House Security Breach game. Story: a man trapped in Vanny's house and he needs to escape. Find all the keys and try to open the closed doors. This is starting to feel familiar. Who made this game anyway? Copyright Vanny Security Studio. Escape from Security Chapter 2 is also an iOS FNAF game? I don't know what to call these. They're not fan games, but they're also obviously not official FNAF games, so. The description reads, you have to distract enemies by knocking over paint cans and toys. Just slip away before enemies are drawn to your location. Oh, okay. Distracting enemies by knocking over paint cans sounds a lot like the daycare sequence in Security Breach. Maybe this is an extension of that. I'm not sure why they'd show the Fazcade on the title menu instead of the daycare, but let's check it out. This looks suspiciously similar to Vanny's Night. It's the same engine, it has basically the same UI, it does the same weird thing of using random screenshots from Security Breach's wall textures and just tiling them infinitely. I'm starting to suspect that these two games were made by the same person. We see a door marked "Enter at your own risk." We enter obviously because there's nothing else to do, but the game promptly yells at us and tells us to go back and grab the map. If the map is so important and included in the starting room, why not just give it to us from the get-go? Why even make it missable? impossible. Similar to Vanny's Night, it's essentially just a Slender ripoff. We need to run around a maze and find 8 books before we're allowed to leave. However, we're not alone. Slendrina and her baby are after us. I wandered around for a bit when suddenly, without any warning, I lost control of my character and witnessed the following cutscene. Wait, what? What the f just happened? When I went to give it another try, I noticed something bizarre. Whenever you make a selection in the menu, the game jump scares you for a single frame. It's almost unnoticeable. This random image is overlaid as the screens transition. It's very strange. On my second attempt, I approached the door and saw something suspicious moving on the other side. And by moving, I mean it was clipping through the door. I bet it's a friend. I bet it's like a friendly NPC that's gonna help. Whoa, that's not a friend. That's not a friend. Why does it look like that? And why is it sliding all over the floor? And what is that noise it's making? Whoa, is he trying to bite my junk? Bro, inappropriate. I fled from the abomination and came across the first of the 8 books. However, the demon was hot on my heels. He did something to me and I died. I gave it another go, encountered the sliding monstrosity again, and fled. This time though, I encountered, wait, what even is this? Is that like a flying old lady in a shower cap? Why is this in the game? This has nothing to do with FNAF or security or breaches or anything. I turned around to flee, but withered Roxy was standing right there. I'm sorry, I mean Slendrina was standing right there. Or wait, maybe this is Slendrina, which would make Roxy and the daycare attendant Slendrina's babies? I'm confused. Roxy disappeared, which was strange, but hey, I'll take it. As I fled to the end of the hallway, I took in the game's subtle and brilliant sound design, which definitely wasn't just horrible noises played on loop or anything like that. I found another book hidden in a crib. This was it. I was finally making progress. I was going to escape from security chapter 2. However, it was at this moment that the daycare attendant arrived. He slithered along the floor, no doubt seeking vengeance for our earlier encounter. I fled, but Roxy had arrived now too. There was no hope for me. I was dead. After the game over screen, we're offered one more chance. All we have to do is click OK, and there it is. There's the grift. Integrated ads. These games are full of them. Seriously, they run advertisements every 15 to 30 seconds. The only way I was able to get this footage was by setting my phone to airplane mode, and even then, some banner ads still manage to get through. If you're connected to the internet while you play, you're inundated with ad after ad after ad, to the point that the game becomes literally unplayable. Both games. So what is this? Obviously, these are not official FNAF games, and they're also not fan games. I think these games are bait for dumb kids. It's sort of the new form of shovelware that was prevalent when I was growing up. Someone will make a really rudimentary game, add a couple of FNAF references to trick naive kids and parents into believing that it's an actual FNAF game, then collect revenue on the countless ads that the app runs. Even worse, a lot of these games aren't even original. They're just pre-bought horror game starter kit assets that have had their characters replaced with stolen security breach models, and often fan-made models. They replace the default textures with random FNAF art and fan art, not because they think it looks good, but because they want kids to see FNAF stuff when they look at the screenshots and first boot up the game. They want to dupe kids into thinking that this is a real FNAF game for as long as possible. The longer they play, the more ads they watch, and the more revenue the nefarious developer gets. Eventually, the kid will realize that the game sucks and stop playing, but at that point, the developer has gotten their ad views and made their money. They never intended to keep players hooked in the first place. I checked out the developer's other games, and sure enough, they've also released Security Breach Coloring Book! An abysmal coloring book app where you tap on line art to color it in. Unfortunately, it also uses stolen art, so they aren't vectors, and the edge detection on the paint bucket tool barely works. Between the happy music and the app's cheerful aesthetic, I suspect that this is another asset flip. It's just pretty amusing that it's not even a functioning coloring book app. I'm skeptical that the creator of these games even knows what FNAF is. The only inclusions that are actually related to FNAF are trivial things like character models and textures. The in-game text makes no sense, and while it's obviously not written by a native English speaker, it's also clear that they know nothing about FNAF or Security Breach. It would be pretty easy to come up with a semi-consistent, plausible story for why we're running around these bizarre hallways with Vanny's face plastered on them, but all we get is, you have to distract enemies by knocking over paint cans and toys just slip away before enemies are drawn to your location. Wait a minute, it's all starting to make sense. The random FNAF assets haphazardly thrown together into an otherwise unrelated game, the bizarre music and weird non-FNAF inclusions. Could it be that these games were made by none other than the man who stole FNAF 4 himself, Lazada Pelotti? Think about it. Escape from Security Breach has the tagline, "Find all the keys and try to open the closed doors." Lazada Pelotti's Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was otherwise known as "Where is the hidden key to unlock the treasure in the difficult maze?" That game also had nothing to do with FNAF, was presumably made by someone who knew nothing about FNAF, and it too included fan art and random assets from the real games repurposed in very unusual ways. It too blended other properties with FNAF in its absurdity. If you don't know the tale of the man who stole FNAF 4, check out this video I made about it. When Lazada Pelotti released their version of FNAF 4 on the iOS App Store, they charged $10 for it. The real FNAF 4 hadn't come out, and Lazada was presumably preying on the fact that everyone expected Scott to release the game for around $5 to $10. Lazada was tricking people into thinking that Scott had pulled his usual move of suddenly dropping a new FNAF game early, or even out of nowhere. Since then though, the App Store's landscape has changed a lot, as has FNAF's demographic. These days, developers like Lazada are targeting younger kids who can't spend money on their devices. The ripoff games are free to download, but they go on to inundate you with advertisement after advertisement once you get in-game. I'd hesitate to even call them games, they're just vehicles for running ads. To the developers, the actual content here are the advertisements, and all the actual gameplay that goes in between is just filler. Some of you might be surprised that these games get through Apple's certification, but it's actually really easy to get an app like this one approved. There are just so many apps uploaded to the App Store every day, and it's impossible for a human being at Apple to manually review each one. They rely on users and rights holders locating infringing content and reporting it. Only then will Apple look into it and realize, oh wait, this game is illegal and shouldn't be on the App Store. While the game is easy enough to find for yourself, I'm not going to link it here and spread it further. I reported it to Apple and hopefully they'll take it down, but more will surely show up. Thus, we may as well get a laugh out of them. It's the only redeeming thing about these games. Lazada Pelotti, or whoever is releasing these ridiculous games, we're on to you. Stop making dumb iOS FNAF games designed to trick kids into thinking it's an official product that Scott made. I can't fathom it's actually making you any real money. Anyway, thanks for watching.